We're in a little window of just mist right now. Light rain in the forecast, but it's mid-December. It could be snow. Could be pretty and beautiful. Instead, it's just cold and nasty and raw. Here on the lakefront tonight. Well, Sean Payton knows all about that. He went to high school in Naperville High School, just southwest of here. His team is 5-8. Here's the deal. They control their own fate. So too do the 5-9 Falcons. The Panthers, for the moment, are sitting there at the top of the division. But if the Saints win and they jump up ahead, then New Orleans is in charge of its fate. If somehow Chicago wins, then the Panthers find themselves in the driver's seat here in this very poor NFC South. But as Sean Payton told us, they were a team that had to go on the road and play against a 7-win division champ in Seattle a few years back, so they're not apologizing to anyone. Thomas Morstead, the kickoff. Off we go from Soldier Field with Mark Mariani on the return for the Bears. Stopped shy of the 20-yard line. Flag came down. Ball came out seemingly after the whistle. I'll have to sort this one out here for the moment. As this one gets off to a little bit of a sloppy start. Saints are trying to say they've got the ball. There's a scrum ensuing. We did hear whistles as they came down. Here's Carl Sheffield.
The ruling on the field is the runner was down by contact. During the return holding, number 32 of the return team, half the distance to the goal, first down.
He was down by contact for a long time. The Sonaris Perry flag will make it a very poor start for field position for the Bears. And Jay Cutler gets going. And Johnny, see 81 starts. It's the most starts anyone's had in over 6 decades. So he's the guy for the Bears. They've only been to the playoffs once in his tenure.
Well, he's got good statistics, Mike, but they've got to get started early. They have really struggled in their opening plays of the last several games. Running the ball with Matt Forte would be wise against this Saint defense. They have struggled stopping it.
You just talked about the first 15 getting off to a good start. Part of the issue has been bad field position. They begin at the 7 with Forte running right. And Matt Forte just about 2 yards to the 9-yard line. So, of course, there are changes on this offense. Let's start with Ryan Groy, the rookie from Wisconsin, undrafted, getting the start from Michael Ola, who's inactive here tonight. Bennett and Jeffrey, the 2 big pass catchers, get busier because Brandon Marshall's out for the rest of the season with the lung and rib injury. Marquise Wilson will move into that number 2 receiver spot, and Josh Morgan the 3rd. On 2nd and 8, Cutler's first attempt of the night is incomplete. Nothing open. Dante Rosario, the other tight end, the intended receiver.
And once again, a special teams penalty on the first play of the game. And Jay Cutler was fooled that time by the Saints' disguise, and Mark Trestman just cannot find opening plays to get this offense on the right foot.
53.
Marshall was such a magnet for Cutler, especially in 3rd down situations. Jeffrey will get a lot of attention along with Bennett. Somebody else going to have to get open here tonight. Here's a shot through the hands of Bennett, scooped by Patrick Robinson. Interception for Robinson, out of bounds inside the 25-yard line.
Game cannot start any worse for the Chicago Bears, but you have to like what the Saints defense did in an opening possession. Tip pass, Bennett and Cutler not on the same page, and Patrick Robinson makes a beautiful diving interception to set up Drew Brees in great field position.
Slick Knight off the hands of Bennett as he wasn't sitting down. He kept moving, and Robinson picked it before it hit the turf. Comes up with his 2nd interception. And here go the Saints. A defense that has not forced a lot of turnovers, has given up a ton of yards. Gives Drew Brees a short field. Starting at the 24 with Mark Ingram. Ingram gains nearly 10 on the opening play. Tackled by the Saints' Ryan Mundy.
And Sean Payton told us last night they want to run the football. The weather obviously is a factor. Mark Ingram was out of the game last week against the Carolina Panthers for the most part because of the lopsided score. They want to establish Ingram and set up some play action passes later.
That second offensive play last week where Ingram fumbled the ball. Slant in stride. Hunt by June, who lost the ball. Exactly what happened last week. Second play of the game. Pass, completion, fumble. Saints lost that one.
That's the 8th fumble that this Bears secondary has forced. After the catch, ball's clearly out. Vereen does an excellent job.
Question is, who has it? The Bears have recovered.
2 5-8 football teams continue to struggle early in football games.
Michigan Avenue. Human gridlock on Saturday night if you're out there. Christmas shoppers, Christmas scenes. Beautiful spot. Well, put a football in the hands of Nick Toon. Just get the feeling of holding on to it. He just coughed it up on the hit. Jared Allen has been credited with the fumble recovery. The 19th of his career. It's the most among active NFL players. So Cutler and the Bears start from the 3, and Forte gets 6.
That's what I want to see. I want to see a lot more of Matt Forte. In the last 2 games, he's carried the ball 18 times for 42 yards. There's been no balance in this Bear offense. They must establish Matt Forte, take some pressure off Jay Cutler and this offensive line, which has had no continuity.
Forte, second run, runs to the left and gets the first down. He ran behind the new offensive starter in Groy at the left guard spot. Let's check the defense here for New Orleans. It's Hicks, Jenkins in the middle for Bunkley, and Jordan up front. With changes in the linebacking spot, Ramon Humber will see a lot of playing time tonight. Secondary is very shaken up. I call your attention to Terrence Frederick. In his first year in the league, he played 2 NFL games on special teams for the Giants, and he's starting a game for the first time in his career tonight. Cutler's got time and slings it and is held onto by Wilson. Knocked out of bounds by the aforementioned Mr. Frederick.
That's one thing Jay Cutler does quite well. He can extend plays. That time, Wilson did a nice job recognizing Cutler under duress and worked back to his quarterback to set up a second and short. But you mentioned it, Mike. Frederick at right corner for the New Orleans Saints. We had to do a lot of homework to find out who this man is. He is the 3rd different corner I've seen start opposite Keenan Lewis. And he's going to have his hands full with Alshon Jeffrey at the top of the screen.
Corey White started 9 games. He's inactive tonight. After that first down gain of 7, Forte going to gain a yard. Curtis Lofton, the very good linebacker, with the tackle. We mentioned no Brandon Marshall. Last game they played, Thursday, December 4th, Barry Church's knee to the back area, collapsed lung, fractured ribs. Marshall ended up going to the hospital, spent 3 days there. Season-ending injured reserve, 61 receptions. The final totals. So Marquise Wilson will have to pick up some of that slack. The guy who had an injured collarbone, clavicle, in the offseason, but they were really high on Wilson's development. It's a long yard on 3rd down that Cutler needs, and incomplete. Off the hands of the crossing Alshon Jeffrey. And after picking up 1 first down, the Bears will kick it away.
Those are plays Jay Cutler has to hit. Protection is outstanding. And Jeffrey's working across the middle against a backup safety. But take a look at Cutler in the pocket. Push forward. Finish on your front foot. That time, ball thrown slightly in front of Jeffrey. And again, they continue to struggle early, Mike.
Bears go with the different and interesting alignment here on the punt, giving New Orleans a different look to react to. Now they fall back to the more conventional protection for Pat O'Donnell. Kick is 49, and they're caught by Jalen Saunders. No return. Drew Brees has had success on Monday night. His team turned it over the first time. Get another crack at it in a moment. Loyal and hardy Bears fans, been a disappointing season, trying to make it a miserable night in the miserable conditions for the Saints. After the second play, catch and fumble, they take over their own 30. The blitz coming, a screen behind it to Pierre Thomas. Bounces off two tacklers. Thomas accelerates. Still going. Thomas, 40 yards on the catch and run.
Pierre Thomas killed the Saints last year with screens, and he just killed them again. The blitz is going to be on off the right side. It's a zone blitz. Pierre Thomas bluffs the blitz. He slips out in a flat, finds Shari Evans, and Pierre cuts it back, and it's poor tackling by the Chicago Bears. But Pierre Thomas in this New Orleans Saints screen game has been absent in recent weeks. Good to see that big hit.
Officially a 39-yard reception, the second longest of his career. And it's back to Ingram to the left, and Jared Allen trying to strip it out as Ingram gains a yard and a half. So Ingram working towards a 1,000-yard season. He's had a decent year behind these players. Armstead back after the neck injury, getting the start on the offensive front. Ingram, Pierre Thomas, you've just seen. Hey, Jimmy Graham, can you get going here? Just 3 catches the last couple of weeks. Teams are trying to take the big receiver out of the offensive production for the Saints. Second and 8, Brees lost the ball and gets back on it. And a loss of 5 for New Orleans.
Well, Sean Payton can't be happy. They fumble inside the 5-yard line in the opening possession, and then veteran center, veteran quarterback, looked like Brees just dropped that ball. Drew Brees wore a glove on his right hand in Seattle last year in the wet weather. Had one on in warm-ups. Maybe he's going to put one on here shortly. 3rd and long.
Four receivers and Jimmy Graham on the field. Timeout, New Orleans. Long gain by Thomas on the screen. Can the Saints turn it into points? What a big one next Monday night in Cincinnati. The Bengals atop their division, the Broncos atop theirs. Cincinnati shut down Johnny Football, and now they'll get Peyton Manning. Very different defensive preparation week, I would say. What a game, Broncos and Bengals to wrap up season 45 of Monday Night Football next week at this time. Out of the New Orleans timeout, 3rd down. And 8. I beg your pardon, 3rd and 12 as Brees throws. Incomplete, looking for Colston. And the coverage is good from Al Lewis-Jean, so it'll be 4th down.
A lot of young Bears in this secondary. And Al Lewis-Jean does a nice job covering Marcus Colston on that patented New Orleans Saint seam route. And here's Shane Graham for what looks like a 51-yarder, Mike.
Not a very impactful wind blowing for the moment, as Graham will work out of the hold by the backup quarterback, Luke McCown, who slipped. Ball slipped through his hands, and McCown gets rid of it, flags down, as that pass is thrown away by the backup quarterback, who also was wearing one glove, and then the mishandle there on the snap. And 2 flags down in different spots.
This is a chaotic first quarter, Mike.
It's bad. It's bad ball, John. You know, what happens is so many teams have the punter as the holder. This is one of the rare teams, and Sean Payton's done this for a few years, where the backup quarterback is there. So it at least gives you a chance on plays like this and could keep alive pass interference, but also you have in these situations ineligible downfield
there are
as
fouls
well.
by both teams on the play. Illegal use of hands, offense. Holding, number 69 defense. Those fouls offset. Replay, 4th down.
A huge break there. So Jared Allen's called for the hold.
So many mistakes, we can't count them. But obviously the Saints need to have a wet ball drill. Brees has dropped the football. McCown has dropped the ball. We've seen Nick Toon fumble. And let's see if Shane Graham can get the Saints going.
Take 2 from 51 yards for the 36-year-old Graham. Snap handled better, but it drifts off to the right and no good. don't know if we ever got the laces spun around on that one. And the Bears will take over at the 41-yard line.
Operation looked clean. Good snap.
Now, he never got the laces around. They just stayed right there. You see Graham on the follow-through as well, stumbling through.
And Jay Cutler, this will be the best opening field or starting field position he's had of the night.
Their own 41, Forte will work to the left. A good run from Matt Forte. Louisiana native, played at Tulane, yard shy of the first down.
Nice work bouncing it to the outside. Matt Forte loves that scheme. They get a double team up front. He tries to push it right behind the double team, and if nothing's there, he'll bounce it and count on some perimeter blocking. That time he made Keenan Lewis miss in the open field, and it's 2nd and 1.
Forte to the right, made the defensive back miss. The flag down as Forte gets taken down by half the New Orleans defense. It's a gain of 16 if it holds up, but it won't.
Number 83 offense. 10-yard penalty. Repeat 2nd down.
Well, Martellus Bennett has had a very good year receiving, but hasn't quite been the blocker that he was a year ago. That time on 2nd and 1. A holding call. Take a look at number 83, right side of your screen. Well, I didn't see that.
Engaged with Cameron Jordan. Erases what would have been a first down and takes it back to the Chicago 40.
I don't know what could happen next, Mike, but this has been a hard watch early.
We're only halfway through the first quarter, so there's more. Kadeem Carey is the back, gets the screen. The rookie from Arizona gets within a couple of yards of the first down as Lofton and Hawthorne spill him.
It's a 3-man rush. The Saints are showing blitz. And watch this left guard. He's about the 3rd different left guard. You pointed him out. Rookie Ryan Groy out of Wisconsin. Muscle up. Downfield to set up a 3rd down and 1 near midfield. Where these big Saint defensive linemen got to get their pads down, explode at the point of attack.
Carey, who's only played 10% of the snaps this year, remains in and gets the first down at the 46-yard line. So only 1 snap played last week. Back-to-back here for the rookie Carey against the defense of Rob Ryan. Remember, the Saints had the worst defense in the league a couple of years ago, historically bad. Ryan helped turn it around last year in his first season in New Orleans, but this year it's been a different story. This defense, 2nd to Atlanta for most yards given up. Forte trying to bounce it. No block from Rosario, and David Hawthorne comes up with the New Orleans stop.
Go back to Rob Ryan. He's been a lightning rod. He's been highly criticized this season for all the statistics. But, Mike, I know the assistant coaches that work with Rob Ryan. Joe Vitt, the linebacker coach. Bill Johnson, the defensive line coach. I really think the secondary coach, Wesley McGriff, is a rising star. It's not all coaching. Some of these Saint players on defense got to play a lot better.
A revolving door in the secondary. Cutler's pressured here, and Hawthorne makes back-to-back plays. David Hawthorne, the former Seahawk, with a sack and the big loss.
Oh, Rob Ryan called a blitz there, and again, they're not on the same page. You see Hawthorne on the right side of the screen, come in concert with 53 Humber. It's not blocked correctly, and that's been the criticism, whether it's warranted or not warranted, of Jay Cutler. There's just not enough communication. There's not enough execution at the line of scrimmage in the run game and in some of these pass protections. 3rd and a long way to go. Good luck.
After Hawthorne's first sack of the season, Cutler knocked down by Junior Gillette. And that was an ugly sequence of Chicago plays.
You can't get sacked on a screen ever. That's all on Jay Cutler. It was a predictable screen situation on 3rd down and long, but this ball's got to be thrown in the ground to Matt Forte. That's a ridiculous error by Cutler and a hit that he should not be taking.
So even though Tyron Walker is there's nowhere to throw to Forte. Just throw it at his feet.
Throw it at his feet and get on with the game.
Jalen Saunders back. Patrick O'Donnell kicking it away. From the 10. Saunders, Jets draft pick on his 4th different team this year. Returns it approximately 5 yards. And New Orleans will take over at its own 15-yard line. Chicago trying to organize what they're doing offensively after Cutler gets sacked by Gillette. Both of these men have a lot of plays on those play cards. Got to find the right way to start, John, the first 15.
Got to start better than this. On the 3rd offensive play, Cutler misses a wide open receiver. It's tipped and intercepted. Then on their 13th offensive play, they fail to pick up a blitz. And on the 14th play, he holds the ball and gets sacked. It's not good. And the Saints, 2nd offensive play, Nick Toon fumbles inside the 5. And in good field position on the 5th play, Drew Brees fumbles it. It's time to get it going on offense.
This drive starts at the 15, and Brees out of the pocket, throwing sideline, and Toon hangs on, ruled a catch right at the 1st down marker at the 25.
I like what Sean Payton's doing with Nick Toon. He had a fumble early in the game. He could have benched the young receiver and gone back to Marcus Colston, but he's staying with Toon. We know he has good genes, Mike. His dad was quite a receiver, but they like the promise of Toon. He's finally healthy. And the former Wisconsin Badger, if he can take care of the football, is coming on.
Ingram runs left. 1st down to 26-yard line as he's taken down there. Check that Chicago defense. We mentioned Jared Allen's been active. A fumble recovery and a holding penalty on that field goal attempt earlier. Christian Jones, they like the promise of the undrafted rookie from Florida State. He starts with Bostic and McClellan. A couple of rookies in the secondary. Brock Vereen playing free safety, and Kyle Fuller, who splashed early on, especially against the Jets in San Francisco. But Mel Tucker's rookie corner among the players who has struggled in this second half of the season. 2nd and 9, Brees is complete. Kenny Stills accelerates into the secondary at the 47. 1st down.
5-man rush, man-to-man coverage, very good pass protection, and Kenny Stills, an anonymous deep threat, has really improved his overall game. That time a simple hook route. Brees is on the money. And Fuller, number 23, has struggled in recent weeks. He's had a hand problem, he's had a hip problem, but the promising rookie hasn't been the same as he was early.
47, couple of tight ends into block. Brees backpedaling and just getting rid of it. Incomplete. Flag is down as Brees was pressured by Jared Allen.
There's no intentional grounding on the play. The quarterback was out of the pocket and the ball got beyond the line. There is holding. Number 72 offense. 10-yard penalty. Repeat 1st down.
Armstead, the starting left tackle.
Armstead hurt his neck last week and was questionable to play tonight, but number 72 against Jared Allen.
Mentioned Armstead was out for a while now, has his hands full with Allen, who, although you see those terrific sack numbers over his career, only 5 this year, at risk of not having a double-digit sack season, which he's done each of the last 7 years. Pierre Thomas, the running back, on 1st and 20. He's got the screen from Brees. And Thomas, that's a 2nd big gain on a screen with Pierre Thomas tonight.
It's unbelievable. Long yardage 1st down. You have to expect the screen. And Sean Payton does an excellent job sometimes running tight ends on shallow crosses, diversionary routes. Everybody went with Jimmy Graham, and no one was ready for Pierre Thomas, but sometimes using Jimmy Graham as a diversion is as good as throwing him the football. 2nd time Pierre Thomas has rung him up with a screen.
Age of 39 and 31 on 2 screen passes. And Ingram with a run. Maybe a yard. So you mentioned Graham as a diversionary tactic, at least on that play. He gets attention. John, remember the big contract issue with Jimmy Graham in the offseason. He wanted to be paid like a receiver, not like a tight end. He ended up being ruled to be in the tight end category. You look at his yards this year, they've come down. Are defensive backs treating him like a receiver?
They sure are, and they know he's not a blocker. They know he's not your conventional tight end. He's being treated like a wideout.
From the 30, Ingram to the left with a gain of about 5 yards.
Look out there now. They just ran the football. Benjamin Watson was the tight end. So the Saints have some tendency, certainly with Jimmy Graham. He is a receiving specialist tight end. He spends a lot of his time detached from the formation, but they have to get him going somehow, some way. His silence has a lot to do with where the Saints are the last couple of weeks. Look at Drew Brees in the huddle.
He's down there low, great presence. Armstead, the left tackle, out. Bryce Harris is in. Final play of the quarter, and Brees pumps, eludes the rush to fire downfield with a ton of contact, and a flag coming.
What Brees tell us last night? I don't care if he's covered or not. I'm going to throw him the football. Fuller, the rookie, had him in coverage, and clearly it's pass interference against the Bears. He's going to run a little spot route.
Number 23 defense, automatic, first down.
And Brees just trusted his 6'6" tight end is better, bigger, and more physical with the ball in flight, and Fuller continues to struggle.
So the Saints will start the second quarter of the ball inside the 10.
ESPN, celebrating 45 years of Monday Night Football.
Well, no touchdown in the first quarter for the Saints. That's no first quarter touchdowns any of their last 10 regular season road games. Longest streak of that type for any team in the league. And it's now 6 road games. The Saints haven't scored a first quarter point. Also the longest streak in the league. Hard to believe with this potent offense, which has struggled of late. They have a chance to start the second with some points. Kyrie Robinson is in at the running back. And Brees looking to throw. It's the tight end, Josh Hill, getting to the pylon and in for the touchdown.
That's just a great setup by Pete Carmichael, Sean Payton of the New Orleans Saints. They sent every signal that we are going to run the football. We have all our blocking tight ends in there. We put Robinson in there deep in the I formation, fake him the ball, and let our backside tight end sell the cutoff and release to the flat. Beautiful execution. They fooled the Chicago Bears. Touchdown, Saints.
We'll watch the back end, make sure he is in while in bounds. And a good job by Hill, who accelerated to that pylon and beat the on-rushing Bears. Christian Jones, the rookie linebacker, and Tim Jennings, the corner. Score confirmed. Very good drive by New Orleans. And here's Shane Graham. And the operation smooth there. The extra point added, and the Saints are on the board first. So remember, Drew Brees had that record-setting streak, broke the Johnny Unitas mark of 54 consecutive games with a touchdown pass. Peyton Manning looked like he was going to be equaling that. However, Peyton's streak was stopped. Brees now has the longest streak. And as he plays game 200, he has NFL records by a quarterback in all of these significant categories. It's been quite a career for a player who many thought too short to play at the college or the pro level. Mark Mariani, kickoff return. Chicago made a good move to get to the edge. The former Titan spun out of bounds as he crossed the 35-yard line.
Let's see if Jay Cutler can get something going. They continue to fall way behind in football games. And a lot of the yardage the Bears accumulate, Mike, is when they're way behind. I want to see Jay Cutler, Mark Trestman put it together while the game is still on the line, and that means right now.
So start from the 36-yard line out of the eye. It is Cutler Looking downfield and across the middle. Wilson, that was fumbled or an incomplete rule from the side. They say Wilson didn't hang on to it as
ruling on the
Frederick
field
was
as
there.
the pass is incomplete. Second down.
Martellus Bennett is telling Mark Trestman to hurry up and run a play because he thinks it's an interception. And here they are.
The ball out of there. He's looking to play on the side there. And it does slide along the edge of the grass there. Bennett is angry at the sideline because Sean Payton threw the challenge flag. They saw what you saw, John. Here's Wilson with the grab there, and the ball does touch the end of the side. His arm does get it.
Challenging the ruling on the field of an incomplete pass. We'll review the play.
But you saw it hit the ground on the front end of that, so it looks like it would stay incomplete. But the Saints have challenged. .com. Carl Sheffer's looking in review.
The ruling on the field is confirmed. The ball hit the ground. It is an incomplete pass. New Orleans will be charged with their second timeout.
Down to one timeout, and they cannot earn a third challenge here in the game. Again, we'll take another peek at it, as Carl and Dean Blandino did back at the league office in New York. And there you see the ball hitting the ground while it was loose. Was not under the control of Marquise Wilson, then popping up in the air.
Hey, double A.
So 2nd and 10 after the incomplete pass. And Cutler adjusting the protection and the play at the line. Saints rush 4. It's through the hands of Forte and incomplete. And John, you pointed it out before the game. The first 15 plays the Bears run need to get off to a good start. These are their first 16 plays now, and they haven't been very good.
They haven't been very good at all. I mean, 15 plays, you have 2 first downs, and they haven't been able to throw it, run it. They haven't protected, and they've turned the ball over. And on 3rd down and long, the Saints continue to show this double A gap pressure, and Cutler continues to audible. Let's see if they bring it up inside.
He walked over to tell something to Bennett and Morgan, the receivers to his right, firing left. Jeffrey goes up to get it, but great competition by Keenan Lewis, the top corner on this team, covering the best Bears receiver.
Oh, I'll say, you got Keenan Lewis, the ex-Pittsburgh Steeler, in tight press coverage, and how about that wingspan by Keenan Lewis? He has been the best performer on this Saints defense all year, and it's good to see him healthy. He's had some knee problems.
And Patrick O'Donnell punts to Jalen Saunders. Kick will be 46 yards as the retreating Saunders got it at the 18. Danced along the sideline for a return of 4. The Saints, as we said, still in control of their playoff destiny, but it has been a year full of issues after a successful 2013 when they won 11 games, losing players like Jenkins and Sproles to Philadelphia, Roman Harper to Carolina. So a lot of the leadership left in addition to the production. They had to pay the money to keep some of their young players and attract a new safety, but injuries have plagued the safety position. Some of the big paid players have underperformed, and John, overall, this has been a very disappointing season, especially the 4 home losses for New Orleans.
Yeah, you've lost a lot of leadership and work ethic when you lose Jonathan Vilma, Roman Harper, Malcolm Jenkins, Will Smith, Jabari Greer. You can't replace all of that stuff in a locker room, and it showed on the field this year.
Graham with a catch, and Jimmy's taken out of bounds after a gain of 4. Yeah, you replace the players, like you spend the money on Bird, the free agent, safety from Buffalo, and he gets hurt. But do you replace their presence? And that's a big key. As we were talking to Sean Payton, the defensive side of the ball doesn't have the same presence of the players who used to be in this locker room.
No, you don't. That takes a long time to do. There's meetings, there's bus rides, plane rides, there's adversity that hits. These young players need to lean on some veteran players to show them the ropes. And the Saints are missing a lot of the stuff they've had when they've enjoyed their success.
They officially credit Graham with 5 yards there. We have a flag down.
False start, number 80, offense, 5-yard penalty, second down.
That's on Jimmy Graham. You saw 79 in the left tackle. We pointed him out earlier. Bryce Harris returns in the game for New Orleans as Armstead has had a reoccurrence of that neck injury that kept him out most of the game against Carolina last week.
You see Jimmy Graham trying to get a jump on the snap count. Here he is lined up at wide receiver. Sean Payton is trying every formation possible to get Jimmy Graham involved in this game tonight.
Isolated on this side, and now we get a delay of game or a timeout. Let's
Third
see.
and final charge timeout. New Orleans.
So the Bears take that third timeout, which means they cannot challenge for the rest of the half. There's a lot of time left in this second quarter.
This is very uncommon. And just look at Jimmy Graham's alignments tonight, Mike. In the last couple games, I should say, you've seen him have no production. Well, Pittsburgh put their best corner, Ike Taylor, on Jimmy Graham. They're going to treat him like a wide receiver. And then they beat him up on the line of scrimmage. He hasn't made the tight contested catches. And when they've put him out in space, he hasn't handled the football. Frustration has set in for Jimmy Graham. It's the first time this young man has really faced adversity as a New Orleans Saint. I'm excited to see him respond to it. We know he's had injuries this season, but defensive coordinators realize this is a receiver. Let's treat him like one.
I believe it's the Bears Saints are out of timeouts. The team that can't challenge. 2nd and 10, screen Thomas. Tracked down, chased down, and a good play by Jeremiah Ratliff. We've missed the last 2 games with a knee injury. With a good play there.
A great play. It's good to see Ratliff healthy. Watch number 90 come out of the stack and go get Pierre Thomas on this screen. That is impressive. That's how Ratliff played in his prime for the Dallas Cowboys. He's missed 5 games. I saw him get 3.5 sacks against the Dolphins. He's a difference maker on this Bears defense. Nice work by Jeremiah Ratliff.
Bears bring some extra pass rush. It's picked up. Graham is crossing. Fuller's got him. And they will not get the first down. Capped off in the play by DeMontre Hurst.
That's what they liked about Fuller coming out of Virginia Tech. And once again, Mike, defenses aren't putting safeties and linebackers against Jimmy Graham. They know he's a big receiver. Let's put our best coverage man on him. That time, Fuller's up to the task.
Thomas Morstead to kick it away for New Orleans. Mark Mariani stands back in his own 25. The directional kick here by Morstead. Just escorts Mariani right to the sideline. A punt of 41. No return. We'll see if the Chicago offense can find any answers here. The leadership of the Bears, it's really been 4 players who've done it, with Forte as a receiving threat, Martellus Bennett, the tight end, Jeffrey, now the injured Marshall. The rest of the team here, 13 games, only 38 total receptions. It has not been a big effort beyond those 4 players. Now they're down to 3 without Marshall for the rest of the season. So other players have to step up, like Marquise Wilson, who makes the catch there with a gain of 8 yards.
I call those 4 Bears the 4 horsemen, Mike. I'm not kidding. You remember the 4 horsemen at Notre Dame? Newt Rockne had that, Elmer Layden. But what do they do without Marshall? Who becomes the 4th option? It must be Wilson. But not a lot of ball distribution this year.
Oh, terrific plays. Forte was trying to get to the edge, and Terrence Frederick, who we mentioned getting his first NFL start, buzzing over to make the play.
Bears love these toss cracks. They block down on the linebacker, they block down on the safety, and it forces a cornerback to step up and make the tackle. Nice work by Frederick. He's held his own so far.
The matchup remains at the top of the screen with Keenan Lewis, the best corner, against Alshon Jeffrey. 3rd and 3 here for Chicago. Cutler eludes the sack. He's in trouble, and he goes down. His first look was over to Jeffrey, but no space as Lewis was playing the tight bump coverage. And David Hawthorne makes his 3rd play of this first half.
Well, you're going to see Forte, I believe, come across in pass protection. It's a one-man route over there, and Jeffrey was covered. There are no checkdowns, and once again, Cutler goes down, and the Bears look chaotic and disorganized on offense. I'd be surprised if Sean Payton and Drew Brees don't put their foot down on this series.
O'Donnell punting for the fourth time. It's a fake. And it's run by the personal protector, Danny McCray. And I don't think he got there.
Not even close, I don't think, Mike.
Bears are very deliberate before the snap. And they come up a full yard short. The penalty flag was in amongst the pile of players.
Illegal formation on the offense. There were only 10 players on the field and only 6 on the line of scrimmage. We'll measure to see if that penalty will be accepted or declined.
So the Bears, they were deliberate in trying to run the fake punt. It has been special teams issues throughout. And nobody here at the bottom.
A penalty is declined. First down, New Orleans. Timeout.
Fake a punt with 10 men.
Makes it hard to pick up.
Hard to swallow.
Bears have had special teams issues, been bad on defense, disorganized on offense. That has shown. Now the Saints a great opportunity.
Going to take a shot here, Mike.
On the 41-yard line, you heard Brees say kill. He changed the play. Ingram trying to get the edge, and there he goes down the sideline.
Coming back.
Yep. Flag was thrown. You could see one of the Bears with their arms flailing as they went down.
Number 82 offense. 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
Benjamin Watson's flag will erase the big game.
Here Drew Brees yelling out, kill, kill, kill. Sean Payton will call a pass and kill it with a run. That time you heard Brees kill the play to a stretch run to Mark Ingram, and Watson is holding Willie Young at the point of attack, and that's not what you want on first down in that field position. Let's see if Drew Brees can get half of it back.
Is that your mentality after a penalty on first down made it 1st and 20?
Yes, try to get back in some normal down and distances.
23-yard gain nullified with that holding flag. Brees in the middle, caught by Colson. Got it all back and then some. First down, New Orleans inside the Chicago 30.
I always like that better, Mike. Marcus Colston, he's done it for years. He and Drew Brees are like fine wine. Over 650 catches just to square in by Colston, and the ball's thrown over the linebackers and under the safety, and Colston physically gets the first down. Keep an eye on Kenny Stills at the top of the screen. He's the deep ball threat of the 2014 Saints.
28, Ingram with fullback blocking for him. Minimal gain. Shane McClellan comes over and makes the stop.
A lot of new skilled players in this Saint offense. The line, mostly veterans, but the emergence of Kenny Stills. You see Nick Toon getting playing time, and Cadet now in.
Robinson.
Actually, it is Robinson. Good to see him back in action.
Kyrie Robinson was healthy and ready last week, but as they fell behind, they couldn't get him in. There's 6 games with a forearm injury. Here he is on the run. Robinson will gain 2 yards. He'll set up a 3rd down and long. Remember, Johnny was undrafted, Robinson, and earned the job. We saw the Saints training camp back a year ago, and Sean Payton kept saying, I can't cut this guy. We put him in games in the preseason, 3rd, 4th quarter, he plays well, earned his spot on the roster here for year 2, but the season's short-circuited by the injury.
A lot of undrafted running backs that thrive here, and Pierre Thomas is another one who's back in the game.
Brees got away from the Pius sack, won't get away from Willie Young. We'll go fishing for another one.
Well, Jared Allen with the initial pressure, and Willie Young mops it up. But Allen beating Bryce Harris, and Willie Young, 9.5 sacks. I don't think he had 9.5 sacks in his career as a Detroit Lion, but It's decision time for Drew Brees. Do you punt this football or kick the long field goal? Looks like they're punting it.
From here, the field goal will be 53 yards. And Morstead will try to pin the Bears back.
You get a delay of game here.
They do. They're waiting to make the decision.
Sure, it's a delay game, I guess.
Delay of game.
Declining
offense. That penalty's declined. 4th down.
John, you mentioned Willie Young. He had 6 sacks in his first 4 years, 48 games with the Lions, and 9.5 in those pass rush situations. One of a few bright spots of the Bears defense. Let's see if Morstead can knock this one back inside the 10. No. 15 yards of net. The Bears offense has 36 yards all game. Now Sean Jeffrey's being covered tight to see if he can get something going against New Orleans again. Saints leading 7-0. Past the halfway point of the second quarter. This drive number 6 for the Bears. They have very little to show. Just 2 first downs. Forte trying to find a place to run. Getting less than 5 yards. Jay Cutler's night, not good.
Got to play better. Got confused on the coverage. Threw the ball away. Then he misses Bennett. Ball's tipped and intercepted. Then on 3rd down, he misses Jeffrey over the middle. Weather's not great, but it hasn't been good enough by Jay Cutler and his Bears offense.
Of course, a lot of news in the offseason as the Bears decide to give Cutler the long-term contract. Forte the run. He'll get a first down. Back-to-back 5-yard carries. And Cutler's numbers. Here he is, 2006 through the present. His numbers in that left column, the right column's the NFL average. Just above average completions. Just above average yards per attempt. Below the touchdown-interception ratio. And about the average passer rating. Brian Urlacher was on ESPN Radio and said his paycheck says he's elite. His numbers do not say he is elite. And those stats back that up. Trouble here. Spun around by the rookie Edebali. And he's able to keep the play away from a sack and incomplete. Kasim Edebali, the rookie out of Boston College.
Well, there's nobody open. Edebali working against Jordan Mills at right tackle. Cutler's looking to his left. All 3 receivers covered. Bear receivers have to find a way to uncover when Cutler gets in trouble, but you can see that ball security is not good, and that's the one thing that bothers me about Cutler the most. 16 interceptions. He's fumbled it 11 times. Ball security an issue with the former Commodore from Vanderbilt. Got to get better at it. 2nd and long.
Bears flag.
False start. Number 67 offense. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
That's the 20th time, Mike, and I'm holding my stomach. I just can't stand all the pre-snap penalties against the Chicago Bears. I know you're audibling. I know you have some check with knees. I know you're using different snap counts. Jordan Mills, 5 false starts this year. Since 2009, 135 of these? It's got to be something in Jay Cutler's cadence. His etiquette at the line of scrimmage must improve.
Flag makes it 2nd and 15. Cutler's got time here. Very few people open downfield, so he gets Rosario for the limited game back to the 30-yard line. But what do you mean about a quarterback and how they can impact the number of false starts you have?
Hey, you got to get in the huddle. You got to say, listen up. I'm going on a hard 2. A hard 2. You guys got it?
Got it.
And we're going ready break. And then you walk to the line of scrimmage and yelling Tuesday, Tuesday to remind them. But they got to know if they jump off sides, I'm going to come barking up your tree.
Right, and jump
so,
them.
I mean, you got to make a big deal of this because it's happening way too many times. You can tell I'm about to lose my mind up here. 135 false starts, 20 this year. Intolerable in pro football. Can't happen.
3rd and 11, and it's Bennett shy of the first down. He's stopped at the 39-yard line. And it'll be another possession. And the Bears will not keep it very long. Humber that stopped for New Orleans.
And at some point, we have to credit this Saints defense, Mike. They have been ridiculed recently for their play, but so far they have put a blanket on this Bears offense.
The Chicago's run 26 snaps, no play more than 10 yards. They faked the punch unsuccessfully earlier, and now it'll be just kicked away by Patrick O'Donnell. And towards the sideline, that's the old school coffin corner kick. Well executed by O'Donnell, and the Saints will have 95 yards to traverse. Something to cheer about for the Bears fans. Derek Anderson, quarterback Carolina, to the win over Tampa and the top of the division because Atlanta lost. So the Panthers sitting on top. Saints can unseat them in that top spot as the teams try to remain in control of their destiny here in the NFC South. Here are the final two games remaining. The Saints have Atlanta and at Tampa Bay still to come. So that Atlanta-New Orleans game, huge because the Falcons beat the Saints earlier this year. And it could come down to the final week of the season when Carolina plays Atlanta. Brees, first down pass, Colston. Some breathing room out to the 19-yard line.
You don't see many defenses this time of year that have 5 rookies on the field, Mike. Defensive tackles, Ego Ferguson, Will Sutton. Linebacker, Christian Jones. You have Kyle Fuller at corner, Brock Vereen at safety. Mel Tucker and this defensive coaching staff have a lot of inexperienced young Chicago Bears. Hard to believe they have 5 rookies on the field at a time.
Brees has hit 9 in a row. Here he gives to Ingram. He was pulled down just shy of the 25-yard line. Ryan Mundy with the tackle. The veterans who are gone include Peanut Tillman and Lance Briggs, longtime Bears, both on injured reserve. Both could very well be done with their Chicago days as contracts about to expire.
Well, Briggs and Urlacher, what they did for this team for over a decade, they were wrecking machines, and the intelligence that they brought to the field and the professionalism unmatched.
2nd and 4, Brees, 10th consecutive completion. That one's to Kenny Still. Sean Payton better get out of the way. Remember, his leg was broken in Tampa a few years ago on the sideline.
Boy, Drew Brees, timing. He looks like he's been doing this his whole life. Oh, yeah, he has been at Purdue, but this square out and the drop of Drew Brees, total concert, fun to watch. He's like a surgeon. His preparation, his fundamentals are a key to his success.
11th straight completion, and Robinson is tripped up. Flagged down as he's down to 35. Shea McClellan making that transition to a linebacker spot. Made the play.
Tripping, number 50, defense. 10 yards will be added to the end of the play. Automatic, first down.
Made the play illegally.
You are really good at this. You saw that.
That's the second one of those I've seen here in the last 10 days or so. And you rarely see defensive tripping, but it's been called a couple of times here this year.
Drew Brees is going to let this thing run to the 2-minute drill.
Saints up 7, trying to add before halftime, and they get the ball to start the second half too. Toyota halftime coming up. Chris Berman's got Adam and Mort, ton of NFL news and notes they'll get you updated on, including DeMarco Murray, the leading rusher in the league, hand surgery after that Cowboy victory in Philadelphia. Everything that happened today in sports you'll see on SportsCenter. We'll have a significant announcement for you as well the back end of halftime, so stay with us for that. 1st and 10 for the Saints here in the last 2 minutes. Brees has Thomas out of the backfield, who's had 3 good pass receptions here in this first half.
And the Saints are protecting quite well. The Bears love to bring 5 and play zone blitz coverage behind it. Nice pickup by the Saints.
The 45, Brees firing right. It's Graham, pushed out of bounds by Ryan Mundy, and a flag down.
Illegal use of hands, hands to the face, number 97 defense, 5-yard penalty, automatic. First down.
Pass rushing Willie Young. Sack earlier, flag here.
It's the second outside breaking route that Drew Brees has thrown on time.
First down.
Trying to get the ball spotted properly here. Saints are breaking the huddle. There's no ball down. Still discussing where the ball should be.
The Saints declined the penalty. What?
The penalty will be accepted. Automatic first down.
So that sorts. It'll be at the Chicago 40 here for Brees. Saints the one remaining team in this division that can get to 500. They can win them all and get to 8-8. Be the champs. Screen Thomas. It's worked twice. This time the Bears rally to it and limit the game with Tim Jennings.
Fourth different screen pass that they've thrown. Pierre Thomas has caught all of them. The Bears have struggled in their 2-minute defense. Let's see if Mel Tucker brings the heat. Here they come.
On 2nd and 8, Brees hits his 14th in a row, the longest stretch he's had of consecutive completions within a game this year. And it's Kenny Stills for the first down.
You see Jennings, number 26, yelling to the rookie Brock Vereen. They're not lined up. There's a lack of communication, and Stills is wide open for an easy first down, and the clock stopped.
The 22-yard line. Remember, the Saints out of timeouts. Brees. Graham almost had the one-hand catch, lifting back the other way as Ryan Mundy says, going to get offensive pass interference on Graham.
Not quite in sync, these two. Brees has such confidence in the wingspan of Jimmy Graham that he can throw the ball away from his body in tight coverage. That time Graham fails to make the left-handed catch, but he spoils you. He's made those catches before, but he's had a number of drops this season. Very uncommon. 2nd and 10.
That one wouldn't be an on-target drop when it gets reviewed, but looking for the circus play. Colston with a catch inside the 10, first down New Orleans with 52 seconds left.
I love the way Marcus Colston catches the football. No wasted motion, north-south, get the first down. Here they come.
And New Orleans operating down here with no timeouts, used them all. Brees, end zone for Colston, who hangs on for the New Orleans touchdown.
What a beautiful throw. And Marcus Colston bodies up for 6. When you're 6'4" and Drew Brees go-to red zone target, you have to earn that right. You have to use that big frame against these smaller defensive backs, and Brees puts the ball where only Colston can get it, and they've got a 2-touchdown lead.
That is one of the most repeated touchdown combinations in NFL history. Drew Brees to Marcus Colston for the 67th time. And Graham's extra point makes it 14-0 Saints with a half minute until halftime. 67th touchdown pass from Drew Brees to Marcus Colston, tied for 5th in NFL history. They caught up to the great combination of Peyton Manning and Reggie Wayne with that touchdown connection. Mark Mariani doesn't even get to the 20-yard line on the return.
Look at Jimmy Graham occupying the safety, and Marcus Colston runs that patented seam route. I've seen that pattern from Drew Brees and the Saints a lot, Mike.
And Graham's role, he just takes the safety out of play there in the middle, so Brees has the one-on-one with Colston.
And you see Jimmy Graham earlier on a screen. He ran a diversionary crossing route. Everybody went with Graham. Pierre Thomas was the beneficiary that time. He cleared it out for Colston. And you're going to hear the Bear fans boo real loud in about 15 seconds.
Well, they are used to second quarter struggles. Forte with the carry to the 31-yard line. Chicago will take the timeout. They have 2 more, 19 seconds left. Remember, Saints get the ball to start the second half. $14-yard gain. It's a lot for the Bears in this first half. 18 seconds left as Cutler throws, and a sliding catch by Jeffrey just shy of midfield. And Chicago uses another timeout with 12 seconds remaining until halftime.
Oh, the Saints came with a blitz. Bears did an adequate job of picking it up. Cutler moved in the pocket, and Jeffrey went down and dug it out. Let's see if he came up with this, Mike. Indeed, he did. But Jeffrey had a big game last year against the Saints, over 200 yards receiving. Saints know they have to stop him tonight.
10 catches, 218 in the game last year. Jeffrey's 18-yard grab there, the first one of the night.
57, line turn.
Bringing an extra offensive lineman to help protect on this first down right near midfield. Chance to edge in field goal range. As maybe more with Wilson. No, underthrown and intercepted. It's picked off by Pierre Warren of the Saints as Warren returns it at the end of the half, just shy of midfield.
One of the most disappointing offensive first halves I've seen from anybody in a while.
17 interceptions in 13 and a half games to Jay Cutler. New Orleans gets the ball first. They lead 14-0. Chris Berman, Toyota halftime.
Welcome to NFL Monday Night Football.
It goes to Homer Jones.
An amazing event. It makes rock concerts look like tea parties.
Welcome to NFL Monday Night Football.
It goes to Homer Jones.
An amazing event. It makes rock concerts look like tea parties.
99 yards and a half.
Nobody catches ball.
Are you ready for some football?
Holy moly. Well, boy.
14-0. New Orleans leads here at the break. Told you we have a big announcement for you here at halftime. You have been with us now 6 seasons on Monday Night Football. We've had a lot of good times. You at the draft and quarterback camp and all the fun times we've had enjoying watching you break down the new prospects coming into the NFL and all of our time together on Monday Night Football over the years. We've had kettlebells that you've given us in the booth. Got blenders that you've given us in the booth. I'm not giving you these for Christmas.
I'll take
I'm
them.
giving them as a thank you gift because ESPN's announcing right now that John has agreed to a contract extension that will keep him here in the booth on Monday night and out of coaching through the length of our ESPN NFL contract in 2021. Means stuck with you for a while, right?
Yeah,
Congratulations,
thanks.
pal. It's
Appreciate
awesome
it.
news.
I love working with
Yeah.
you. Love football. Love the team I'm on, and I can't wait for years to come. I love it. Thank you.
We're really happy to have you here through 2021 in the Monday night booth. Let's talk about what's happened on the field here in the first half, and it has not been very extraordinary for the Bears. Zale's extraordinary moments from the first 30 minutes.
It hasn't been good. I like what Sean Payton did. He said changes are going to be made. We're going to run some screen passes too. And Pierre Thomas got some linemen out front. They gashed the Chicago Bears early. They came back to another screen. Pierre Thomas across the formation. Well executed, another big play. And then the all-go special. Here's the progression. Jimmy Graham is number 1. Marcus Colston is number 2. Read it out, Drew. And he did an excellent job giving Marcus Colston a perfect pass. The Saints have a chance right now to knock Chicago out. I'm sure that's what Sean Payton told his team at halftime.
As they get the ball first. By the way, the guy happiest about your contract extension, not you, not your accountant, but Frank Caliendo. He's got real material to work with for the next 6 or 7 years.
He's going to start on you. I had a good
He's
talk
got
with
no shot.
Caliendo.
He's got no
been
shot.
practicing your trademark voice, that's for sure.
Well, the trademark for this Bears team has been a lethargic-looking, disappointing squad, and that was on full display in the first 30 minutes. Let's see what changes here in the next 30. Short kick, you hear let it go. It was touched and then rolls out of bounds. It will be a touchback. They were hoping it would go out of bounds before crossing inside the pylon. Here's Lisa Salters.
Well, Mike, I asked Mark Trestman, how do you generate some more offense? And he said, we were completely inept moving the football in that first half. He said, penalties held us back. We missed opportunity. Guys were open and we just missed them on passes. He said, our defense is playing well. They're doing everything that they can, but they've been on the field too long. And then I asked him, is the energy level where you want it? And Mike, he said something curious. He said, we'll see in the second half.
Because it hasn't been from watching from here, or what Lisa's getting for a vibe down on the sideline. The 5-8 eliminated Bears for the 4th straight year. Hard run by Ingram. Starts this half with a gain of 4 yards. Again, to reset the NFC South story, Drew Brees and the Saints win here tonight, win against Atlanta, win against Tampa Bay in Tampa. They're the NFC South champs who will host a playoff game as the 4 seed.
Bears, I don't even like the way they came out of the locker room to start the third quarter. They came out disjointed, not together. They need somebody to make a play quick.
This is 2nd and 6 and almost intercepted. Tim Jennings got a hand on it and able to break up the pass completion.
He's a very good zone defender that time. He backpedals, he sees the ball thrown. That's a beautiful breaking drive by Jennings. Transition, you got to break on the ball before the receiver can get his hands on it. Jennings shows his quickness. 3rd down and 6.
Jared Allen asking the fans for some noise, some support as he brings the pass rush from the bottom of your screen. Brees steps up, throws complete to Graham. Jimmy Graham past midfield and the first down as he ran away from the rookie Kyle Fuller.
Well, Drew Brees in the pocket is amazing. He always keeps the ball in the throwing position, sliding up, continuous movement, and that ball can't be thrown any better. 14-yard basic cross by Jimmy Graham, and right out of the break, the ball is a foot in front of his numbers so Graham can run with it. Shot play. Anytime you see 2 backs in the backfield in this field position, be alert for a play action pass.
And then you heard Brees come right out and say, kill, kill. He throws it complete to Kenny Stills, who gains 9 on that catch. You talked about Brees, John, on that play to Graham a moment ago, and it's a football term that's used, climbing the pocket, and this is the picture of climbing the pocket. When I hear that term, I think of Drew Brees stepping up and throwing.
I remember watching him at Purdue coming out. He has always been meticulous, working on footwork drills. It's amazing the amount of time he puts into the position.
2nd and 1. This will be a handoff with Ingram. Keep the legs churning, and he'll get the first down.
Look, Greg Olson, his old quarterback coach, sent me this video. Here he is at Purdue, working on the footwork, working on the pocket fundamentals. Look how high he carries the ball. Above the numbers, he's working on 5-step no-hitch, timing patterns, 3-step drops, you name it. But it's just Drew Brees, a receiver, and his position coach, over and over and over, working on pocket fundamentals. The preparation, the details, maniacal worker, big reason for his success. Look at those numbers again tonight.
Pressure here, nowhere to go, and Brees will go down for the sack at the 43-yard line. Ryan Mundy able to out-wrestle Kyrie Robinson. Sack.
Excuse me, Mike. That's what happens to Robinson. He hasn't played much. He's more of a runner than a pass protector, but if you play for Sean Payton, you have to be able to pick up these blitzes, and that time, Mundy destroyed him.
Mundy had a pick 6 on Monday Night Football, and the game earlier this year against the Jets now comes up with the sack, 2nd and long. And Brees will throw it to Robinson in the middle of the field. Get some of that sack yardage back into the 35-yard line. Will bring up third at about 8.
Simple check down. You're going to see Robinson check down over the ball, but watch Drew Brees looking to his right. The clock goes off. He knows exactly where to go. If you're a young quarterback out there, learn how to use all 5 eligible receivers. That's what makes the New Orleans Saints special. They use all 5 eligibles. The ball distribution is unbelievable.
Meacham in motion. Brees with time. And the completion is Stills. The Stills and Tune are stepping up their game against this weak Chicago secondary, and it's a first down for New Orleans.
Great pass protection, just a 2-man route. And they use Meacham to clear out the deep zone, and Kenny Stills on a corner route is wide open. Look at that upward tilt by Drew Brees. He's not the tallest quarterback, but he stands tall in the pocket. Great 2-receiver slot combination. What a route by Kenny Stills who's coming on.
Orange! Orange! Hey, Mike 5'9", Mike 5'9". Alert!
Ingram with the run. It'll be 2, 3, 4 yards as he keeps going forward. We were talking to Brees about that video, and you mentioned Greg Olson, the position coach and coordinator in the National Football League for a while. His quarterback coach at Purdue, he said, I owe so much to Greg, who was like a dad away from home, helped me develop as a man. But the attention to detail going back to Schrader and Ahi is high school coaches at Westlake High School in Austin, Texas, on through Norv Turner, Brian Schottenheimer, Cam Cameron, Marty Schottenheimer, and now Sean Payton. A lot of good coaches who were helped by Brees' dedication and talent and his pinpoint accuracy to Nick Tune there. That gets New Orleans another first down.
They give Drew Brees so much freedom. That's a running play all the way, and they tell Nick Tune to run a built-in bullet slant, and Drew Brees gets the laces, and that ball is out. You see how he changes his arm angles to avoid the batted down passes? It's a beautiful thing.
Our director, Chip Dean, and our great crew caught that shot before we went to the replay of the thumbs up from Brees. That was to Tune because, as you said, it was a running play, and the young receivers picking up the little things that the veteran receivers have often done for Drew. Ingram with the opening in the middle will get near the 7-yard line. They've already driven 85 and 95 yards for a touchdown, and New Orleans knocking on the door of an 80-yard touchdown drive here.
Got a new offensive guard in there. Sanio Calameti is checked in. Now he's coming off the field. Sean Payton walked into the team meeting after he lost 41-10. He says, not good enough. Changes will be made. Watch. And he has the Saints' attention.
Easy.
Ben Grubbs back in.
Mike 50.
2nd and 5. Brees rolling. Hill for his 2nd touchdown of the night.
High manipulation shred. He's a surgeon. Same play they scored on earlier. They fake the ball to Robinson. Hill's going to come out to his right. Mundy's in perfect position, but Drew Brees looks him off, and then Hill's wide open for 6.
Watch Mundy's reaction as he finds out he got fooled. It's like a little kid. Darn!
Hill says, call that play again.
3 touchdowns on the season. 2 more added to that total for Josh Hill tonight. Extra point by Shane Graham. Brees orchestrates the 12-play, 80-yard drive for 6.5 minutes. And the Saints are up 3 touchdowns. Here in Chicago in 1943, it started that great tradition. You like Chicago deep dish?
I do. I wish we had it in Tampa.
Mariani kickoff return, 5 deep. .28 on the take back. Bears will start shy of the 25-yard line. 21-point hole. Jay Cutler trying to turn around a rough first half. Back here at Soldier Field, our coverage from Spider Cam tonight, brought to you by DirecTV. Well, LeBron James in Cleveland tonight jumped up to a 21-0 lead on Charlotte. Charlotte came back and lost by 9. I don't know if the Bears have that kind of comeback in them, but we'll see. It's not a good start to the second half after first half of disappointing offensive numbers for Chicago. They ran 29 plays, 92 yards. The half bracketed by interceptions, a fake punt when they had 10 men on the field is the series where they had 4 plays, 7 yards, and out on downs. Again, operating without Brandon Marshall, their top receiver, on injured reserve, done for the year. Second and 10, right up the middle, right at Cutler, and down he goes again. David Hawthorne's been there a couple of times.
Blood is in the water, and the Saints know it. Hawthorne 57 on a blitz. Confusion again, and down goes Jay Cutler. The Bears season is over. They're down 21 points. I want to see who's finishing, who has pride. If I'm GM Phil Emery, I'm disgusted with what I'm seeing.
There's a third sack for Hawthorne here tonight. Third and long, and underneath it's Forte. He just keeps working hard. Not much to show for it. 3 and out Bears.
Bears' performance on the field is exactly like it was when they came out of the locker room. Lethargic, non-competitive. Ugly.
Patrick O'Donnell will kick it. Jalen Saunders back to catch it. .45 on the kick. Here's Saunders from his own 29. Shy of the 40, 10 yards on a return. 6.5 in the third. Nothing going on that side. What a doubleheader tomorrow night. The 21-2 Golden State Warriors. They've won 16 in a row, taking on the second best in the NBA, 19-4 Memphis. And then Oklahoma City's getting hot. They've won 6 in a row. They'll take on the Kings, who fired their coach today. ESPN has a doubleheader of the NBA tonight, or tomorrow night, Wednesday night, and Friday night. 3 NBA doubleheaders coming this week. Short gain of a yard on the run on first down with Ingram. Drew Brees closing in on another 300-yard performance. He's only had a couple of incompletions on the night.
Boy, these championship quarterbacks, if you put Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, and Drew Brees statistics together against this Bear defense, holy cow, these championship quarterbacks had their way with Chicago.
Second and 9, and this pass incomplete. Intended for Stills, and it stops 6 consecutive completions by Brees.
Third down and long. Defensive coordinator Mel Tucker's got to make something happen here. I expect a blitz. Christian Jones, the rookie inside linebacker, number 59. And Jonathan Bostic, 2 young inside linebackers, have taken the torch from Briggs and Urlacher. And Chicago fans are hoping one day they can get close to those 2.
Third and 9. Brees throws Watson. There's a tackle by Christian Jones. Mel Tucker tells John he looks and runs the part. He made the play there to force the Saints off the field.
Jones wasn't drafted. Had some bad things happen at the combine, but has shown up at Chicago, and from day one, he's closed the gap on all these linebackers, and he started his 3rd game tonight.
Second 3 and out of the game. Bears bring Josh Bellamy down. Try to put some pressure on the punter Morstead. Well protected by the Saints special teams. Almost dying inside the 1. You had the Saints touch it first, and the Bears get that free opportunity to touch it. With no retribution of losing the ball because the Saints had the initial touch. Sherrick McManus was down there trying to dig it
Although
out.
the ball was touched by the kicking team in the field of play, it did go into the end zone, resulting in a touchback. Timeout.
So the Bears take over at the 20 inside of 5 minutes left. Headline news in Chicago this week was the dysfunction at Hallis Hall, where the Bears call home. Jay Cutler, the quarterback. Aaron Cromer, the offensive coordinator and offensive line coach, he spoke to a reporter, Ian Rappaport from NFL Network, who reported on the discomfort, the unhappiness with what Jay Cutler was doing in games. It became a report that got out there. And then Cromer, Monday, went into the team meeting and told the offense that he was the source of those reports. Cromer was very emotional, tearful by all accounts, the people who were there. Apologized to Cutler, owned the mistake. Mark Trestman chose not to make any moves in terms of discipline. Cromer is still coaching with the team. Cutler said he appreciated the fact that he owned it, manned up about it. They hashed it out, and for them it's done for now. But certainly questions of trust going forward within that small group continue to linger after Cromer was honest that he was the source for those reports. Martellus Bennett with the catch. A good extra work there for 12 yards and some life from the Bears and a first down. John, that's very hard when your coaching staff has somebody who admits that they were a source for a negative report about your $100 million quarterback.
No, you can't have unnamed source. You have to protect your football, and you have to protect your players. And they knew what they were getting when they signed Jay Cutler. All the coaches need to be on board and make sure, in good times or bad, we support our quarterback, especially our highest paid player.
Pass intended for Bennett, incomplete as Cutler gets hit again.
I remember Mike Holmgren came in and he said, we're trading for Brett Favre. I don't care what any of you guys think. We're going to make him successful, and if he's successful, we'll be successful. And there were times where Favre was up and down, and it would have been easy to say, hey, he's having a hard time picking up the offense. You don't do that. You have to stay with your guy when you make the decision to go with him. We all have to be united, and there's a problem here in Chicago right now.
180!
Cutler hit on that last play in addition to those 4 sacks. Featuring Bennett on this drive. Thrown to him 3 times. Got hit very hard on that play. And so too did David Hawthorne. The linebacker gets up after the gain by Bennett. John, you made a good point as we were discussing this issue back and forth during the week, that it needs to be a lesson to assistant coaches around the league as well to learn from what happened to a good guy, Aaron Cromer.
He's a great guy, and everybody makes mistakes, but you have to use this as a learning opportunity if you're a young coach. Be careful who you talk to and what you say. There's an unwritten code of ethics if you want to be a coach.
This is 3rd and 3 for Cutler and the Bears. 1 of 8 on 3rd downs. Shot play for Jeffrey. Safety coming over. Intercepted for the 2nd time tonight by Pierre Warren, who's out of bounds at the 44-yard line.
You got to look off the free safety. You just can't look at Alshon Jeffries and throw it way too easy. And Pierre Warren might be going to the Pro Bowl. He plays Chicago anymore.
9 passes caught by his own team, 3 by the other team. That means 18 interceptions. And Jay Cutler has passed Jacksonville's Blake Bortles. He's thrown the most interceptions in the NFL this season with 2 weeks and a quarter to go. Brees and the Saints taking over at their own 44. All kinds of time for Brees. Perfectly lofted to Graham.
This last interception, Mike, is not good. Pierre Warren knows that Cutler's looking for Alshon Jeffries. And you got to look him off or he's just going to make a lateral interception. Cutler tried to flash his left shoulder, but Pierre Warren read him like a book. 3 interceptions. If I'm Mark Trestman, I'm going to take a look at Jimmy Clausen to see what I have here down the stretch. It's just not happening for Cutler tonight.
Really?
No doubt.
Gain of 26 to Graham. Jared Allen off the edge. Can't get there in time. 1 step away from Kenny Stills. That pass incomplete as Allen finally was able to knock down Drew Brees. That completion to Graham took Drew Brees over 300 yards. 329 tonight. The 85th time now playing game 200 of his NFL career. Percentage-wise, that's at the top. Just ahead of Kurt Warner's in the building tonight. And the record in those 300-yard games is 2 out of every 3 for the most part. Just 2 wins shy of Peyton Manning for the most wins in 300-yard games in NFL history. We'll see Manning next Monday night in Cincinnati. 9-yard run by Pierre Thomas on 2nd and 10.
Well, we asked Drew Brees last night, why didn't you keep Darren Sproles? I love Sproles in the Saints offense. He said we just didn't have enough money to feed all the mouths that we have. He did not want to lose Sproles, nor did he want to lose Pierre Thomas, a world champion halfback who can make a difference.
3rd and 1. Trying to run this play quick. Allen missed the sack. Brees throws on the run. And it's brought in. Good catch by Toon for the first down. And these Bear fans are just livid at everything their team does.
You don't do this to Jared Allen. He's unblocked. Stop, pop, reset your feet, and then get off and run to your left and make that throw. You got to be kidding me. Jared Allen unblocked, has the routine sack, but Drew Brees shows off his athleticism, and not many quarterbacks have the poise to reset and make that throw to their left.
Ready. Yellow lady, yellow lady. Ready. Wait, shot.
1st and goal. It's the pitch to Thomas. Gain of 2 and out of bounds at the 2.
About that play, Cadet on a jet sweep. Fake it to him and pitch it to Pierre Thomas. Got a lot of deception in his offense, doesn't he, Mike? Look at Cadet, fake the jet sweep, pitch it out there to Pierre Thomas, take your chances. And if Benjamin Watson gets that block, it walks.
Christian Jones and Jared Allen stood there and were on the play. Bears make some defensive substitutions for 2nd and goal at the 2. Brees, Graham. Coverage by Mundy.
I have not seen Jimmy Graham dominate in these high point fade situations like I've seen in recent years. Must be the injury to that left arm shoulder area. We saw Will Hill of the Baltimore Ravens become the Gruden grinder, covering Graham in these isolated situations, and Drew Brees and Jimmy Graham, they're almost laughing about it. That's the matchup that they've been looking for, Monday versus Graham, and they didn't make the play.
It seems like he caught all of those, that 16 touchdown season that he had. 3rd and goal. Ingram out of the pie attack with the rest of the Bears. Rally to the ball and make a solid play on 3rd down.
Give the Bears defense credit for competing. I thought Brees might give Graham another shot. They're outnumbered, it looks like. They're going to run the ball across the formation, and Stephen Paya, number 92, who's had a real good year. Mike, he's had 6 sacks. He's had a lot of disruption inside. He's going to be a free agent at the end of this season, and if I'm the Chicago Bears, I'm not letting Paya out of here.
25-yard field goal. Shane Graham missed from 51 earlier. Able to knock that one through, and the Saints extend the lead to 24-0. There's 16 seconds left till the 4th quarter. Well, salary caps are such an impact thing for these teams, John. You think of what you were saying before about you can't keep everyone. They've got 35%, third of their cap tied up in the 2 guards, the quarterback, and Marcus Colston, the wide receiver Brees is hooked up with so often. So that's one of the things the Saints are trying to manage. And the Bears on the other side have big ticket items on offense. And Cutler and Marshall and Forte and Bushrod, the tackle, former Saint. That's a third of their salary cap. And when you do these, and they've built around these quarterbacks, they're offensive-minded head coaches in Peyton and Tressman, try to put the people in place to be big scoring teams. A lot of times it's going to leave your defense exposed. And we've seen that with both of these teams this year.
We certainly have, and it's also going to leave your special teams covered, Bears. But You have to rob Peter to pay Paul. If you want to have all these high-priced offensive players, you have to take the money from the defensive side of the ball. And that's okay as long as you're getting great production from those players.
Right.
But for the Chicago Bears, they might be regretting giving Jay Cutler that $54 million guaranteed number and that huge cap figure. Maybe they should have stayed with McCown and had more money for other players.
Mariotti's going to get his hands on this one at about the 4-yard line. Good return here by Mariotti. And Morstead, the kickoff man, usually kicks him through the end zone for a touchback. Frustrated and angered as he bumped the returner out at the 44-yard line.
Love to see, excuse me, Mike, I'd love to see the Bears getting a 2-minute drill here right now.
Get something going.
8 seconds left in the quarter, but when they come out to start the fourth quarter, let's get in an up-tempo offense. This is our quarterback. We've given him the contract. Let's put him in charge and try to get a score and get back in this game.
You mentioned the contract so often discussed, 7 years, $126 million, but in fact it is that guaranteed money, the $54 million that you mentioned for 3 seasons, that is the actual of what the Bears are on the hook for now. End of the quarter here on this run by Forte, just shy of midfield. After 3 in Chicago, the Saints all 24.
ESPN, celebrating 45 years of Monday Night Football.
New Orleans, a quarter away from 6-8 and taking the lead here in the NFC South with 2 weeks to go. A game against Atlanta and then a closer against Tampa Bay in Florida the final week of the season. Fourth quarter begins with a Forte run into New Orleans territory, which has been rare for the Bears tonight, and a first down.
What a Chicago Bear he is. I love watching him practice the other day. Plays 91% of the snaps, presses it, cuts it back, puts up a block from Wilson, number 10, and he sets the Bears up with a 1st and 10.
He was the pregame Gruden grinder. Deepest the Bears have been into Saints territory tonight. They'll hand it to Josh Morgan, coming around, and Morgan staying in bounds. And working it near the 10-yard line. And looking for the flag on Pierre Warren, who has the 2 picks tonight.
That's what I'm used to seeing from Mark Trestman. Plays that start off looking the same that are different. This time, fake it to Forte. Get Rosario, 88, out front as the lead blocker. And Josh Morgan does a nice job, but don't let up on the sidelines, Josh. Pierre Warren, I like what he's done tonight. 2 interceptions, a couple impact tackles. Not bad. Mickey Loomis, the GM, picked him up off the Vikings practice squad.
After gains of 19 and 21. Down here in the red zone, Forte. Shot of the first down, taken out of bounds at 2.
That's a play that Aaron Cromer, the offensive coordinator, brought with him to Chicago from New Orleans. Bushrod, the left tackle, is going to lead this pick screen. He blocks Curtis Lofton and sets up Forte with a one-on-one opportunity. Nice design.
Forte. Minimal gain here. If the Bears do score a touchdown, they'd go for 2 in all likelihood. With 3 touchdowns and 2-point conversions is what they would need to tie the game up. And remember, last week against Dallas, they were in a big hole and they came back and actually extended it long enough that they had an onside kick at the very end. If they would have recovered it, they had a chance against the Cowboys.
I'd like to see the Bears speed this process up, Mike. Every second matters when you're down by 24 points. Up for Jeffrey at the bottom of the screen.
Cutler. Jeffrey.
Keenan Lewis. He said bring it on to Jeffrey. That's the second time he shut him out in one-on-one bump and run situations. When you have the coverage corners that can match up with these great receivers in one-on-one isolation situations, it allows you to have a chance to stop some of these running plays.
One of the officials who's injured there, the umpire. Looking over the middle of the ball there is shaken up. Let's see what happened. Oh, I see. As one of the players was running over it, he ended up clipping Andre Wash, the umpire who was placing down the ball. And the medical staff from the Bears out checking on him. The umpire's behind the offensive play normally, but then when the ball gets there in close, the umpire moves back to that old spot. Back up in amongst the linebackers there. He also moves there last 5 minutes of the game. And the other members of this crew making sure that Andre Wash is okay.
And he's New Orleans Saint defensive tackle. Hicks 96, Jenkins 92. Big bodies.
Let's exchange all the people in their defensive front. Cutler, the crosser, with a flag down. Touchdown is caught by Wilson. Looks like it'll be a hold on the Saints, and the score will stand.
Prior to the pass, holding number 28 defense. That penalty's declined. Result of the play, touchdown.
And Marquise Wilson gets his first touchdown of his season.
He's going to run a shallow cross from left to right. Bennett, number 83, was running clearance, and Wilson, who had a great offseason, got hurt and now is healthy again, and they like the youngster out of Washington State. And they're going for two to try to make it a two-possession game.
Well, the Bears do one thing very well, and that's go for two. They are 4 for 4 in two-point conversions this year. And Matt Forte has been the master of the two-point conversion over his career. He has 2 this season. And Jeffrey moves.
Ball start, number 17 offense. 5-yard penalty. The try will be attempted from the 7-yard line.
Now let's see if they choose to kick, being moved back to the 7.
That's ridiculous. That really is. Wide receivers can never be guilty of a false start.
Yeah, it was just before that you saw Frederick.
That's 2 weeks in a row for Jeffrey, Mike.
He's still going to go for it. I mentioned Forte has the two-point conversions this year. He has 5 in his career.
Over here, Lion. Sit down. 180. 180.
Going for 2 from the 7. And getting it as Cutler uses that rocket arm to hit Martellus Bennett. And the Bears have a life. 24-8 here in the 4th. Onside kick time here. Interesting, John. Jay Feely hasn't been doing the kickoffs. It's been the punter, Patrick O'Donnell. Feely comes out. He kicked off onside 3 times last year. So the Saints see their personnel on the field. The hands team, a lot of the running backs and tight ends. And Feely kicks it away. Oftentimes your blocking lanes are compromised because it's an onside kick, because you don't have the regular blockers out. So Cadet just watches it go through the back of the end zone. It's a touchback. Feely, who was signed here as Robbie Gould is missing his 2nd game for the Bears with an injury. Feely told me before the game that he was going to play golf with Brian Urlacher. He lives out in Arizona. He runs in the same community with Urlacher and Donovan McNabb. They're both retired in the same area. He said he played flag football for his church team in Arizona Thanksgiving, and they lost. I said, what were you, the kicker? He said, no, it's flag football. It's the quarterback. So no fakes for Feely. Saints up 24-8, and Brees will take off and slide for a gain of 3.
Brees, he's got a lot of attributes that everybody likes. How about his footwork? 5-step drop, sink on that back foot, ball's gone, perfect timing, beautiful. His accuracy, he can throw the ball in the tightest of windows. Ask Marcus Colston. and his pocket mobility. Watch him keep the ball in the throwing position, eyes downfield. And his athleticism, vastly underrated. He makes Jared Allen miss to his left. He still gets it done. And here he is audibling. He can do it above the neck as well.
5-0.
Second and 7. Brees throwing. The middle's vacant again. Graham leaping up and pulled down by that available leg at the 45-yard line.
Revealing formations. Put Jimmy Graham out there. Get a look pre-snap. Drew Brees sees it. He says kill, kill, kill. Everything's built in. He just changed the play to a quick protection. He's going to drop back and find his favorite target, Jimmy Graham, on a old-fashioned slant route. Stealing. Drew Brees says, hey, it's 24-8. Bears have a little momentum. Let me take charge. Don't be surprised if they take a shot here.
Brock Vereen made that tackle as Graham tried to hurdle. Kyrie Robinson running for 3 to the 48-yard line.
Must-stop situation if you're a Chicago Bear. You've got to take some chances. Mel Tucker, defensive coordinator. A lot of young players, a lot of injuries. Very difficult job to be a coordinator of a team with those two things, but somehow, some way, Chicago must create a stop. I expect pressure if I'm Sean Payton.
Robinson into Bears territory at the 47-yard line. We'll have 3rd and 2 coming up. And this snap will take us around 10 minutes left here in the 4th.
Sean Payton loves being able to run the ball and use that clock. Here comes the specialist, Pierre Thomas, Meacham. Jimmy Graham is back. This looks like it's a pass for sure. They love to use Meacham to clear out deep zones at the top of the screen.
Great speed, only 5 catches. They'll toss to the perimeter, and Ingram strung out and stopped. Now Louis Jean had the penetration to push it wide, and Bostic comes over to make the play, and New Orleans will punch it away.
They try to run this toss crack, and you're going to see the receivers blocked down, and Louis Jean and Bostic do an excellent job. That's actually Hurst, number 30, who's done an excellent job as the nickel corner. Plenty of time left. Let's see if Jay Cutler in a 2-minute drill can make this a 1-score game.
Morstead back. Bears showing 10 at the line to bring pressure. And now they back out. Morstead got rid of it quickly. Mariani doesn't catch it. And the Saints will down it shy of the 8-yard line. Brian Dixon down there in coverage. See if they can score in back-to-back possessions. Intriguing playoff picture in the AFC, impacted by the matchup of division leaders next Monday night in Cincinnati, as the Denver Broncos and Peyton Manning, after clinching the division in San Diego yesterday, will take on Andy Dalton and the Bengals. Impressive shutout win over Cleveland. Cincinnati, Denver to wrap up our Monday night regular season next week, 8:15 Eastern. Cutler starts from his own 8. There goes Alshon Jeffrey to the 26-yard line. A gain of 18. Very similar to what happened last Thursday night here against Dallas.
I'll say this about Jay Cutler. He must have some kind of thick skin. 24-0. Now he's got him on the march again. They love that slant route, both of these teams, and Jeffrey does a great job going down to get it.
5-0, 5-0.
Here, Johnny has a bit. He told us Saturday, I'm learning how to take the criticism in stride. That was not something that he did in prior years. He knows it comes with a big contract when you're 5-8. That one for Jeffrey, incomplete.
He did not like the route that Jeffrey just ran there. Right after he threw it, Jay Cutler shows his displeasure. Watch this throw. As soon as he releases the ball, he's upset with Jeffrey. 2nd and 10. See Junior Gillette Cameron Jordan, 94, 93. Those men had 12 sacks last year, and this is closing time for the Saints.
There's a flag down. New Orleans trying to take a timeout. I don't know if they had 12 men on the field or not, and the snap was imminent, and that would be a case. But they are being given the timeout here for the moment. Been some dust-ups on the sideline this year with Rob Ryan, the defensive coordinator, and Sean Payton.
The timeout was called prior to the penalty.
There's some unhappiness, but here Carl Sheffers finally making the announcement. There was a flag thrown for 12 players on the field. They ruled the snap wasn't imminent, and New Orleans got the timeout. Thus, no flag and 2nd and 10. And pressure on Cutler, who gets it to Forte, who couldn't pull it in.
They are dialing up some strange disguises and blitzes. Rob Ryan and this defensive coaching staff using their 3 down linemen, 3 linebackers, and 5 defensive backs. Kenny Vaccaro, who was benched in their base defense, a man they like operating around the line of scrimmage as a blitzer or underneath coverage defender. 3rd and 10.
The 3rd down conversion number is bad, especially against the worst 3rd down defense in the NFL, New Orleans. Cutler's going to try to run for it, get it and more. Jay Cutler with a long run out to the 47-yard line. 2nd time he's done that this season.
Can't play that coverage against Jay Cutler. When you play too deep, man-to-man underneath, everybody takes their eyes off the quarterback. Cutler drops back to pass, and if the rush doesn't get there, there's nobody there. Everybody has their back to the quarterback. Very disappointing pass rush by the Saints when they need it the most.
20-yard run by Cutler at a 25-yarder earlier this year. Now he lost the football as he was trying to climb the pocket, and Junior Gillette had a hand on him. But Cutler able to recover it.
They need Junior Gillette. He's had some injury problems this week. He had 12 sacks last year. So did Cameron Jordan. And in these obvious passing situations, you got to cut loose the pass rush. These are the situations that defensive linemen live for. I used to have defensive linemen jumping over the water cooler to get out there and rush with a 2-score lead. Time for Cameron Jordan to close out the Bears.
5 sacks for New Orleans here tonight. 2nd and 14. Here New Orleans rushes 3, and they still get there as Garza was pushed right back to the quarterback by Akeem Hicks.
You want to see a power rush? Total domination by Hicks against Garza. Bull rush. He walks Garza right back into Cutler's lap. Wow. Akeem Hicks. Inside pass rush presence.
5-3, Mike.
2nd sack of the year. Back-to-back sacks make it 3rd and 21. And it's Bennett on a little crosser here. Won't get much. And down 16 with 6:20 to go. They're just trying to get enough yardage to make a reasonable 4th down attempt. That's exactly what they were doing to get to the 42. Now they're going to need 14 yards. But you said it before, John. It's 24-8. The same lethargic feel you get from the Bears offense is continuing here with zero urgency. And they're running out of possessions, running out of time. 4th and 14 now becomes 4th and 19. They might punt it away.
Start, number 10, offense. 5-yard penalty, remains 4th down.
When you have wide receivers and false starts, you got to really consider pulling them out of the game. That's just a lack of concentration. Jeffrey did it on a 2-point play, and now Wilson. Are you kidding me? That's amateur football there. That's just intolerable.
So 5:41, they will have to punt it away. It sends some of the Hardy fans who have stuck around in the poor weather and the poor performance towards the exit. Jalen Saunders backpedals, makes the catch at the 11. 5:26 to go. And the Saints will try to ice this one. You see that sparkly pink B on the jacket and also on the visor of Sean Payton. He's wearing that to honor an 11-year-old young lady, Bailey Leon, who's in a courageous battle with cancer, fighting the battle and watching tonight from her hospital bed in New Orleans. She's met Coach Payton numerous times. She was at practice on Saturday, and he went to visit her after the practice, I should say, on Saturday. He went to visit her, promised that he was going to bring Bailey home a muddy game ball from tonight's game. So Bailey, could be a winning game ball from this one. I know Bailey and her family so appreciative of what the Saints and Sean Payton have done. Sean, Drew Brees, those guys have been so integrated into the community since their arrival there some 9 years ago. So just one more example of that here tonight. Throwing, leading by 16 with 5:24 left, and complete to Colston. And Kyle Fuller shaking up on the play and coming out of the game for Chicago.
You know how nice it must be to have a quarterback like Drew Brees? You're in a 5-minute drill. All you got to do is run some clock, but instead of handing it off, you let him throw the ball. You put him in check with me situations. He's in complete control of the Saints offense.
Alois Jean comes in to replace the injured Fuller, and Eric Lorig, the fullback, gets his third rush of the season. Too shy of the first down, and Mark Tressman will begin using his timeouts here, taking one with 4:44 in the fourth. Each team can stop it twice more. Coverage from Spider Cam tonight, brought to you by DirecTV. Bears scoring at the start of this fourth quarter. John avoided their first Soldier Field shutout since Mike Ditka's first game as coach, 1982 against New Orleans. It's been a long time. They were able to get on the board there with Cutler to start the fourth quarter, but it's a very interesting time going forward here for Chicago. They almost always stick with their coaches. Rarely, almost never, just once have they had just a 2-year stint for a coach. But there certainly is discomfort, dysfunction, frustration.
Well, they've taken a big step back offensively this year, Mike. After giving Cutler the huge contract, expectations were soaring. They broke Bear records last year for points, yards. They were exciting. They dazzled people. It has not happened this year, and defensively, they still have a long way to go. And with Green Bay and Detroit playing like they're playing, Bear fans are not happy.
Yeah, and where you see Minnesota taking positive steps in Mike Zimmer's first year, Bridgewater, they are not winning as many games, but they're going in at least a positive building direction. We do have to remind everybody, and it's not an excuse, it's a fact, this was an aging team that Mark Tressman took over, especially on the defensive side of the ball, and the personnel moves so far have not equaled the better defense.
And they made the trade before Tressman got here to get Jay Cutler. A lot of things that he inherited and a lot of things that need to be cleaned up.
Saints took a timeout after the Bears timeout. This is a 3rd-and-2 throw for Brees, and it's incomplete, and so that will buy some time here for Chicago with another 40 seconds not running off the clock, and the Bears still have a life with 4:38 to go.
And most importantly, the clock is stopped. And they came after Morstead the last time.
An injured Bear over here, I believe, on the far side. It is Tim Jennings, who's had a good game here tonight. The only consistency in the secondary has been Ryan Mundy and Tim Jennings. Lost his running mate, Peanut Tillman, back there in the secondary earlier this year. Now Jennings shake it up. So 4th down. Jennings helped off the field by the athletic training staff of the Bears, and Morstead to kick it to Mariani. Bears try to bring some pressure this time. Looking like they're set up more to give Mariani some blocking on a return. 48 on the kick. Mariani juggles, flag down. And that 14-yard return will come back, and the Bears are going to start this somewhere around their 20.
During the return, illegal block in the back. Number 29 of the return team. 10-yard penalty. First down.
You know, as an alum, you're supposed to be proud. It's hard as an alum of the NFC South to be proud of the efforts this year. Hasn't been good.
Killing me. Those are fighting words. This is a strange division. No one has ever repeated as champion.
That's right.
We used to go from first to worst and worst to first, and no in between.
Right.
It's a strange division. Somebody could win this division, get a home playoff game, and get a top 12 pick.
That's right.
That's a heck of a year. That's called the trifecta. Weird division, this NFC South.
And again, New Orleans with a win here, we get to 6-8. They'd be in control of their own fate with 2 games remaining. Forte, the carry to the 26-yard line.
That's a bizarre call there. I would think they'd want to be throwing it and going up to the line of scrimmage and throwing it again.
Okay, we'll jump into the no huddle now as we get close to the 4-minute mark. And they run again. Forte shy of the 30-yard line.
Well, that's, at least some Bear fans agree with me.
Bo Schembechler's line was, "Those who stay will be champions. Here, those who stay will be heard."
Come on.
3rd and 2. Here's the throw, and it's complete to Jeffrey for the first down, but there is multiple penalty flags thrown. That was the 3rd catch on the night for Jeffrey if it stands. Spent most of the night looking at Keenan Lewis.
A lot of long discussions tonight over penalties, Mike.
Are you blaming me?
No, I'm just...
You say Mike with such disdain, like
Well, you said something about the NFC South.
There are fouls by both teams on the play. Pass interference, offense number 83. There was a personal foul for illegal helmet contact, number 32 of the defense. Those fouls offset, replay 3rd down.
So we'll go back to 3rd and 2. Let's go back to the NFC South story here for a second. Carolina plays Cleveland and then at Atlanta. The Saints will get Atlanta from that Week 1 Atlanta victory led by Matt Ryan and company, and then they go to Tampa to close. And the Falcons, after that New Orleans game, will play Carolina Week 17. That will help decide which team will win the division and host a playoff game.
Hey, run, 50, run.
Hand signal down, heard him. Jeffrey.
3rd and 2. Forte picked up the Vaccaro blitz, but the rest of the pressure wasn't taken care of as Cutler's engulfed by John Jenkins, the 7th sack of the Bears quarterback tonight. Going to go for it on 4th down.
Jenkins, 92. It's like Roy, the left guard, didn't even know he was blocking him. A lot of indecision, poor communication, and bad results tonight from this Bear offensive line.
4th and 8, last gasp for Chicago. Cutler directing, launching downfield, and incomplete. It was just the last second when Morgan broke free. Cutler didn't have the time to get him in line and hook up. And New Orleans will take over with 2:47 to go.
And that's an exclamation point on a dreadful evening for Jay Cutler and his Chicago Bear offense. 4th down and 8, a non-catchable ball. Previous series on 4th and 12, a wide receiver jumps off sides. Ugly. And back to Drew Brees real quick, Mike, because I got to cheer myself up. The one thing about the Saints, if they were to win this division, do you really want to go to that madhouse they call the Superdome and deal with this surgeon? It's going to be no picnic if they can get there.
A place where they never used to lose and now can't win. Ingram runs it just inside the 20-yard line. Remember, New Orleans had all the great success, 19 straight wins when Sean Payton was coaching them up until the losing streak started, and now they've lost their last 4 games in the Superdome.
You brought up Mike Ditka's name earlier. Remember seeing him last night? Just the juice that Mike Ditka has.
Awesome.
I mean, you know, he had 100 wins plus wins here, Super Bowl championship.
Mike was on the field with Susie Colburn and the rest of our crew on Monday Night Countdown. They interviewed him in the stands here in the on the field before the game. Everyone in the stands stood up and cheered. He used to coach the Saints as well, and he used to coach Sean Payton too.
The Ditka Bowl.
Well, the Cubs had a good day. They introduced John Lester here in Chicago. Hi, folks. Steve Levy in for Stuart Scott. Coming up, Sports Center and the GMC postgame report. Ray Lewis, Steve Young, and Trent Dilfer will join me. We'll break down the game, postgame reaction, and analysis. We'll have the top 10 plays of the week and the best of the worst. Might the Bears be in that category? We'll ask the fellas. All coming up on Sports Center immediately following the game. Upstairs, Mike and John, take it away.
All right, Leaf, see you then. 2nd and 6 for New Orleans. Ingram runs to the left. Chicago still has 2 timeouts. Mark Ingram's down at the 15-yard line. It's a homecoming for Sean Payton. Went to Naperville Central High School, 33 miles west and a little bit south here at Soldier Field. Played his college ball also in the state of Eastern Illinois. They're the Payton days back at Naperville Central, where he was the quarterback, and Eastern Illinois had some success as well. Made the Division I AA playoffs, quarterfinals. And then he was one of the spare Bears when the strike came in 1987. He was a quarterback. Matter of fact, Sean said, my stats, 8 of 23, 1 interception. Mike Ditka was the coach of that team, and the 1 interception was against the New Orleans Saints, who the Bears were playing in the last game when that player strike ended. But Sean told us last night that the Saints defensive players came back. Remember, some players came back early from the strike? So he's going up against guys who are really in the NFL. Here's Sean, who's just trying to find his way in football, playing for the Bears. Here is Mark Ingram, scoring for the Saints.
Power King. Mark Ingram ran that play at Alabama. Power is a double team off the right side. They pull the left guard. And the King means they're going to get a double team here and here. And Mark Ingram presses it, bounces it, and finishes the Bears big time.
And on the weekend when the 80th Heisman Trophy was handed to Marcus Mariota of Oregon, the man who won the 75th Heisman Trophy 5 years ago representing Alabama, runs in the touchdown. And the Graham extra point takes it to 31-8. Big win for Brees. Saints will be leading their division. We have division leaders to wrap up regular season number 45 of Monday Night Football. Peyton Manning battling the flu and a bit of a thigh issue yesterday, able to get the win, the division title. And the performance by Andy Dalton and the Bengals was really good on the line against Cleveland.
Yes, the AFC North is a great division. A lot of unsolved mysteries in that division, but they get the Sheriff on Monday Night Football in Cincinnati. I can't wait for that one.
Yeah, it'll be exciting. Peyton has never lost to the Bengals during his career. So.
Never lost to me either, I don't think. Doggone Sheriff.
You mentioned the AFC North. It's a great point because you have so many teams in the mix. Cleveland still mathematically around, but Pittsburgh and Baltimore right there in playoff spots. So Cincinnati closes with Pittsburgh. This is a huge game in the jungle. Marvin Lewis has that team going. A lot on the line for them next Monday.
Yes, indeed. And the Denver Bronco defense has been overshadowed because of Peyton Manning and this offense. But Aqib Talib, Chris Harris, DeMarcus Ware, Von Miller, Jack Del Rio, and John Fox have done a heck of a job with the Broncos defense.
Good to see Mariani back in the league here. They're going to try a reverse at 31-8. Sonaris Perry is spun down shy of the 30-yard line by 2-touchdown catch man Josh Hill. The AFC playoff picture has the 3 divisions clinched by the typicals, New England, Denver, and Indianapolis of late. Cincinnati in control of its own playoff destiny, as are the Steelers and Ravens. And also note the Chiefs are too, because the Chiefs and the Steelers play in one of the more important Week 16 games that will be in Pittsburgh. I don't know if Buffalo's going to have enough to get there, John, but credit Doug Marrone. He has done a great job. The adversity they had with the snowstorm. They handled the NFC North, swept them with a win over Green Bay. Heck of a season for Doug Marrone and company up in Buffalo.
Heck of a season. And they got a new owner. They changed quarterbacks. And Jim Schwartz and that defense, they're scary. But Sean Payton walked in last night, and we asked him, what do you got to do to get this thing turned around? He said, our third down defense is awful. Well, not tonight. He said, we got to play with passion. We got to play harder. They did that tonight as well. And their defensive line has to play better, and they did. And here goes Jeffrey.
Jeffrey on the run, out of bounds at the 25. Other than the celebrating Saints fans, the misery-loving Bears fans, those who are remaining are trying to make their fantasy football championship games next week, and the next minute too might determine if you win some cheesy championship trophy or not. So I know you're with us.
These Bear fans are disgusted. A lot of the yardage that has been accumulated for the fantasy teams has been meaningless if you're a Bears fan. There's a lot of garbage yards that you make late in games.
About a third of their season, John, they've been down by double digits. Kadeem Carey, 7-yard line, 52 seconds left. Detroit comes in here next week. From the 7, Cutler, back shoulder, Jeffrey held it for the touchdown.
Shows you what kind of arm talent Cutler has. He catches and releases. He snaps this ball into a 2-foot box. It's impressive. Back shoulder fade, and Alshon Jeffrey, I believe he's gone over 1,000 yards again, second year in a row, the ex-Carolina Gamecock.
Like his talent as a receiver, John, the Bears were the only NFL team that hadn't scored a point this season, either a touchdown or a field goal, on a drive that began within the last 2 minutes of either half until that drive. That's the first time all year the Bears have been able to do that. And Jay Feely adds the extra point, kicking with his 6th NFL team. It's a 16-point game with 30 seconds to go.
You know, I'm going to really be concerned what happens to my friends Charles Tillman and Lance Briggs. They've had such stellar careers here in Chicago. Going to be free agents at the end of the season. Peanut Tillman, 2-time Pro Bowler. How many fumbles and impact plays has he made? Mike, you're going to miss these two if they're not in Chicago next year.
The Peanut Punch, 42 forced fumbles. Art form,
36 picks. I mean, he's got 8 touchdowns. A lot of my receivers never scored that many. And Lance Briggs, 170 starts, 19 forced fumbles, over 1,500 tackles. Amazing pro football players. I hate to see these guys leave the teams that they made their mark with. Wish them the best, and hopefully they get healthy and they can continue playing.
Saints have the hands team out there as Jay Feely will attempt his 4th onside kick in 2 weeks with the Bears. And you saw the fancy footwork. He didn't want to touch it before it went 10 yards on the middle dribble kick. It was recovered by the Saints, and that will bring business to a close here tonight.
Well, Feely keeps getting involved in these piles of bodies. He's going to wish he was on the golf course with Urlacher, like you talked about earlier. But
it did hit his ankle.
I mean, 4 onside kicks. Imagine that in
2 weeks.
2 games as the kicker. He's earned his salary. Convincing win for the Saints. I think their defense is going to gain some confidence with the 7 sacks. Jimmy Graham got going tonight, and the Saints have sole possession of first place.
At 6 and 8, major game Sunday against Atlanta. A game that could go a long way to determining the NFC South champ. Sean Payton pushed the buttons. He brought in a lot of players for individual meetings. Try to connect to guys to find a way to shake the lineup up. They have some success, and they turn it into a 31-15 win. And I'm sure Sean Payton will be taking that game ball back to that 11-year-old young Bailey Leon, who's courageously battling cancer back in New Orleans. Inspiration to so many back in Louisiana. GMC postgame is coming up next. Scott Van Pelt and John Buccigross got you covered with SportsCenter back in the studio. Steve Levy and company here in Chicago. With John Gruden, Lisa Salters, Mike Tirico. So long from Soldier Field.